manufacturer of pencils. And I thought about it when I heard First Lady Long talk about they were going to give out pencils and crayons and paper to the students. Well, this man owned a factory that made pencils. And he said to the pencil one day, he said, if you want to be successful in life, there's 5 things that you have to remember. And the first thing you need to remember is that you got to allow somebody to hold you in their hand. Secondly, you got to realize that you're going to make mistakes, but I'm putting an eraser on you so that when you make a mistake, you'll be able to fix those mistakes. And then he said, number 3, he said, every once in a while, if you're going to serve your purpose, you got to be sharp. You know, folk don't want to be sharper today. They're in the church, they want to do what they want to do, and they don't want nobody saying nothing to them. They got a Burger King attitude, holy pickle, holy lettuce. They want to have it their way. But the manufacturer said, every once in a while, you got to be sharp. Then he said that you got to remember one thing, that the best that you have, I know the wood is nice, and I know the color yellow is nice, and I know the eraser is nice, but the best part of you is on the inside. The part that matters is on the inside of you. The part that makes you a pencil is on the inside. So he says, if you're going to make a mistake, have success in life, he said, always make your mark. Always make your mark. We come this morning to Bethel because you was willing to allow somebody to hold you in your hand. You was willing to make mistakes and willing to correct those mistakes and fix up what you mess up and start all over again. You was willing to be rebuked, but you always remember that the best part of you was what was inside of you. And you are still here 144 years later making your mark. We come this morning to celebrate with you. And we come to remind you that it matters whose hands you're in. Some years ago, there was an insurance company, I believe it was Allstate. They made a commercial and said that you're in good hands with Allstate. Millions of people bought Allstate insurance based on this commercial. You're in good hands with Allstate. And the amazing thing, Minister Wizard, is that God makes that same promise. You are in good hands. But the only difference between God and Allstate is Allstate don't cover everything. Y'all don't get me. Listen, when you're driving your car down the road and you make a mistake, Allstate don't cover that. They said that was your fault. But God said, that's all right. I paid the price. You covered for that. You commit adultery, you covered for that. You tell a lie, you covered for that. You stole something, you covered for that. Because I paid. See, Allstate don't cover everything. But God covers everything. You're in good hands. In God's hand, and it matters whose hand you are in. David understood it. David said it this way. He said, my times are in your hand. He said, deliver me from the enemies and from those that pursue me. David understood that. David said, if you must deliver me to somebody, deliver me to the hands of God and not to the hands of man. Why? Because David understood that there's protection in the Lord's hand. There's salvation in the Lord's hand. There's deliverance in the Lord's hand. My granddaughter Sierra asked me last night, she said, Papa, are you afraid of the storm? Wow. And I said, no, baby, I'm not afraid. And she said, why not? She said, I'm afraid. Why aren't you afraid? I said, well, we have done all we can do. And the rest is in the hands of the Lord. You see, I'm in his hand. And my life is in his hand. My whole being is in his hand. Therefore I shall not fail. Oh, y'all don't hear me this morning. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm glad I'm in his hand. I'm glad I'm in his hand this morning. My daughter called me and said, Daddy, we couldn't make it to your house. We tried to make it. We didn't have any lights. And this is back in Jersey. And she said we didn't have any lights. And we tried to make it to your house. And the water was so high that the church was flooded out. And we couldn't get that way. We just couldn't get to the house. And I said, okay, baby, we'll be back Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm in his hand. My house is in his hand. Everything I got is in his hand. Everything. You need to understand that when you in God's hand, nothing else matters. When sickness comes, nothing else matters. When you're in his hand. I'm telling you, Reverend Pastor, get malice. Whose hands you're in? Well, why are you so happy, Reverend Price, that you are in the Lord's hand? Well, the first thing reason I'm happy is that he's the authority in my life. He tells me what to do. He shows me how to do it. You see, I ain't always been so holy. Y'all don't need to listen to that part of me no more. But there was time that I would lay down my religion. Say what I want to say. But I'm in his hand. And when I get ready to say something, he said, no, you can't say that. You got to love the hell out of it. Y'all don't hear me this morning. See, he's the authority in my life. I don't have to worry about it because he tells me what to do. He's the authority in my life. Listen to what he said to Jacob. He said, Jacob, I am the first and the last. My hand laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand spread out the heavens. He said, when I call, they all stand together. He said, when I call out, everything stands up. In other words, when he speaks, the grass grows. The birds fly. The folks are delivered. Folks are healed. Even the storms are ceased when he speaks. That's right. He told the sun to come up this morning, and he'll be the one to tell it to go down his end. He's the only one can make us spotted cow, eat green grass, give white milk, and yellow butter. He's the only one, because he is the authority of this world. Woke me up this morning, started me on my way. You see, sometimes I become perplexed, and I really don't know what to do. Come on now. So he is the authority in my life. Yes. I remember not long ago, it was one of those times that I told you about that I wasn't so holy. Come on now, come on now. And this lady, she was much older than me. And I was on a campaign to solicit memberships for the NAACP. And I said to her, would you like to join the NAACP? It's only $10. She said, what's that? I don't know nothing about no NAACP. And I proceeded to lay her out. I said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Old as you is with your crazy self. And you will stand up here and tell me you don't know what NAACP is. You ought to be, and I went on, I didn't say it that nice, but that was pretty much what I said. And when I went to bed that night and I laid down, my authority said to me, get your behind right back to that job tomorrow and apologize to that lady. That's not your job to lay people out. Yeah. Your job is to teach people. Yeah. And so as much as I didn't want to, I went back to work and I apologized to her and I told her how sorry I was that I spoke to her in that tone of voice. And she bought a membership. And God took that and turned it around, and not only did she buy a membership, but 200 other people after her bought membership. You see, we got to let him be the authority in our lives. Because when he's the authority, he can work it out. The songwriter said, he can work it out. And I know he will, and I believe that he can. And not only will he work it out, he work it out, he will work it out. And so the first reason that I allow him to be the authority in my life is that he is the authority in my life. Secondly, I'm glad I'm in his hand because I trust him. And I trust his hand. Because it was his hand that measured the water of the sea. It was his hand that marked off the heavens. It was his hand that placed the moon in the sky. It was his hand that told the water to go this far and no further. It was his hand that placed